because I think that's the biggest thing that I've sort of, that's interesting to me as we've made movies, is that, you know, your favorite movies, my favorite movies, I never think about that, you know, the day they shot that, they had to shoot like 2 other scenes, and they kind of were in a rush, and no one cared, and, you know, everyone was rushing. Not that no one cared on this movie, but, you know, it's like, it's just like a, they're turning, there's a schedule, and things are happening, so it's just weird when you're actually, you know, in it, and you know, there's just that day you wake up and you do Dr. Manhattan on Mars, and that's the thing you film, and it's just not, it's in the schedule like everything else, but, you know, it's, you've been thinking about it for, you know, a year, and then just like, okay, we did it. But anyway.
Back there, raise hand. Yeah, you.
The way I worked with Dave was, Dave supplied me with a lot of drawings, and they're all like found in a book called Watchmen. And so I had that. And then I also, but I did have him draw a couple other frames for me, because I wanted to sort of, he didn't do that much. He did a little bit of the sequence that we have, Our Destruction of New York. He did a version of it for me. And I was like, that's cool. Like, it was kind of, so it's in the style of, so I kind of could get his take on how that would look. Because it's so, his point of view is so particular in the way he draws. But, and also he was so open with me and free with his time, that he did give me a lot of, if there was like a change I wanted to do in the story or something like that, I would send him a version script or talk to him on the phone about it and see like what he felt. And so that was pretty much how he worked. And the thing, he came up to set this one day when we were doing all the guys in Crime Busters headquarters, the scene where Blake yells at Adrian about the atomic bomb, atomic bomb. He was there that day, so he saw everybody in their costumes. That's what freaked him out. He was like, whoa, this is crazy. I drew this.
Over here. Sorry, one question. We've got 2 more questions.
For the film grammar, besides using the storyboard of the book, any movies you went with, it's not like Taxi Driver, which is obviously one book. But did you sit down and watch like Kubrick, Renoir?
I'm a bit of a cinephile, so I sit down and watch a little bit. But like I know those movies pretty well. They can't help it. Taxi Driver especially. There's a couple special Taxi Driver shots. I mean, we have a huge Strange Love freak out that we did. And a bunch of other things. But nothing that like Dave. I'd say to Dave, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this like Strange Love. He's like, that's what we wanted to do like Strange Love. And I said, okay, that's cool, that's good. And so there's a lot of stuff like that in the movie. I also feel like because the book is based on, it took a run at comic books, and at the time, comic books and cinema were not linked in the way they are now. And so I kind of felt like I had to make cinematic references to really, so that fans who had never read the graphic novel could at least let that satirical sort of element resonate past just comic book frames and sort of into cinematic pop culture as well. How's that?
Last question. The super fan waiting right here. And you better be a super fan, or it's somebody else.
Or somebody else.
Okay, so in the trailer, it looked like he nailed all the characters, but Adrian seems a little darker, and it was almost like a little bit of a giveaway that he was.
Shh.
What are you talking about? No, I just wanted to make his costume cooler. That's all that is. I didn't want to be. By the way, he has this alibi. Someone tries to kill him. He's not the bad guy. How can someone that tries to assassinate him. He's not bad.
You want to talk about anything you want to talk about before we roll this last thing?
Do you want to show any of the stuff from the computer?
Yes. You guys like what you've seen so far?
Well, see, the thing is, DJ brought his computer that he uses every day. So,
Show you what I did.
he's got some, yeah, so he's got a couple, like, you know, secret things on there.
Spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets. Yeah, we have a PowerPoint.
How much does this shot cost?
No, but we have a, I mean, we could show, I think the Trisha thing is cool.
Let's show the Trisha thing.
Yeah, Trisha. It has to do with the movie, so well, give my mic. Yeah, this is a lot of fun test stuff. This is actually what the suit looked like. I don't know if you got a good look at that before, but this is us shooting the initial test of actually a stunt guy, a mocap guy that has worked at ImageWorks in their mocap environment. That's Trisha just walking up. She's right there. Yeah, in love with Dr. Manhattan early. So this is the summer of 2007. See, they have posters of 300 back in the 80s. Right. And we figured Manhattan would like to look at cubes and things like that, which he didn't in the Ultimate movie. That was something that changed. So let's see if I can find. This is the original plate that was shot, but I need to. There we go. There's Trisha reading a graphic novel. That's a Poison poster up on the left. That is the 80s reference. And we wanted to make sure, Pete and I wanted to make sure that we did the ultimate test for the film. So we even made sure that the camera scratched the negative in the middle there. So not only would we have to get rid of that guy and put Manhattan in, but we'd have to take out the scratch too. So, yeah. It does look like Bruce Campbell. It's not Bruce Campbell. It looks exactly like Bruce Campbell. It's so good. Let's see if I can find the finished thing here. Actually, this might be the first blocking. So I think, if I remember right, Pete, this was just a few days after we did it, sort of testing the tracking marker tracking, right? So the thing that I really liked about this was it allowed us to get, I knew that we could get blocking really fast, and we could turn that around and show it to Zack right away, which is the big fear of doing a process like this, is that it's too iterative on the back end that you'll never, get through a shot very quickly. But that allowed us to get stuff early on that we could then tweak to get a final shot later. This should be the finished test. So this body is actually supplied by Beowulf. It's the actual Beowulf character. It is Beowulf, yeah. Shaded to look like Dr. Manhattan. And again, this is probably 2 weeks beyond that. And it ended up being the proof of concept that said, this is how we're going to have to shoot it for the entire film. And if we can do that after 2 weeks, if we allow a few months for a shot, then we should get something pretty interesting. Actually, one other thing we can look at with this.